Comparing the Mastery Rank 8 required Kompressa, the signature secondary for Yareli, doesn't really seem fair when comparing it to the Mastery Rank 13 Kompressa Prime. But at the same time, kind of does, considering it has an extra 10% crit chance, 6% status, and does pretty much exactly the same damage numbers. Until you get down to the radial attack, that's where things start to get interesting. Right, I do believe with that last Forma, it's done. 6 Forma later, worth everyone. Remembering, even the adversary weapons only actually need 5. And you always end up with a ton of points left over. But for some reason, 5 just wasn't enough to be able to have this in here and fully upgrade it. And now I'm looking at the points, I can see the difference here. But remember, I have just put a Forma in this to unlock those points so I can do this. As you can blatantly tell from the fact the damage doesn't move here until I actually swap this in. This all came around because I remembered I have this. Plus 107% damage, plus 90% damage, plus 220% damage. Then, Galvanized Diffusion with multi-shot, that on kill 30% multi-shot for 20 seconds, stacks up to 4 times. That's an extra 120% multi-shot. With Lethal Torrent that adds multi-shot and fire rate, crit from Primed Pistol Gambit, and Prime Target Cracker. It's not very often I don't build full-blown status on pretty much everything, but none. Did lose a bit of magazine capacity, did add cold to it, that's a side effect of the Riven, but I kid you not, half as good as it should be. Because it's supposed to have 247.3% extra damage. Now that makes this thing insane. But of course the Riven disposition for primes is altered, and that just became fully useless on the prime version. I mean, it still is, it's still plus 100 and something % damage, but wish I had a crit based one. Just gonna throw that out there. Crit based Riven would work so much better on this. This thing ends up being more fun than anything else to use because it shoots water. But it doesn't shoot beams of water, it shoots balls of water, goblets of water, goblets. Ah, god damn it, I said that completely wrong. Anyway, and they stick to the wall and explode. Upon exploding, deal more damage. You can obviously shoot them at enemies. This would be why the damage per projectile was 8. Because when you hit an enemy with these, it will do very, very little damage. Until it goes bang. And once it goes pop, not bang, it pops. Because it's a bubble of water. Then it deals most of, all of, its damage, and that's when it starts to actually take out enemies. Which means you can spray the floor down with these things, and when an enemy runs into it, they go, oh dear, I'm surrounded by, and then they go pop, and the enemy disappears. Which makes this thing a lot of fun to actually use. I will admit, my Riven is not the best. It adds cold damage, but just cold damage. Then again, I wanted cold damage on this anyway, because you want them to run into the bubbles and slow down. Well, the cold damage will basically do that. I wish they didn't nerf the Riven disposition by taking 3 entire points off it. It went from a 4 to a 1. That made the Riven itself, what, 30% of what it was before. It ruined it. Because if they hadn't of, this thing would have been absolutely deadly. It would have more than doubled the damage that that Riven was actually adding. Which would have been great. I mean, the radial attack of this thing is only about 4,862.3, sorry. And just that little bit more It's not like this weapon was absolutely amazing. The way it works is great. It's nice and it's fun. And it was a different way of Digital Extreme seeing weapons. But you ain't taking this on no temporal Archimedia because it's not really going to kill anything. It's going to tickle their feet as they run over it. And that's probably about it. Deep Archimedia should be... It's going to struggle a little bit, but on Steel Path it'll be fine. It's still going to take them out. A bit. It's not like it's going to one-shot them, it's still going to struggle a tiny little bit, but it's still going to take them out. The rest of the normal game, it's fine, I'll take them out, even without that Riven in there. Again, that Riven's only basically 100% extra damage, so even without it, Auger Pact in there by itself, throw status on there instead of Auger Pact and the Kompressa, it still works perfectly fine on Steel Path. But I don't know if I mentioned it before, but I would love to see them actually putting some... I'm thrown back to when they announced the Twin Viper Wraith, and so many dual-wielding weapons that were coming out at the same time. Oh, you like the single version? Well, here's a dual-wielding version. And then they just stopped. It's almost like they have given up on the idea of releasing weaponry that would take them very, very little time and effort to actually release. Give it to Barrow. Just a Riven that has a link, that's just one part, one link to the Kompressa, so you have to build obviously two of them and then combine them together. Then this thing might actually be really, really useful for temporal Archimedia because it will be twice as good as it is now because you will have two of them. This is why I keep saying I'd love to see a dual wielding version, but there isn't one. That's just a single version, and by itself it doesn't disappoint. The traps you can lay are amazing. It was nice to go back, revisit it, and have it work better than it ever kind of did before. I say it every single Prime video. We'll end it by saying it again. It does what a Prime version of a weapon is supposed to do. It's the normal weapon, made slightly better. A lot of the time, much better. In this case, it's not really much better, it's massive. It just seems to work so much better than the standard one does, but then again we're talking about something from, July of 2021 when the original Kompressa was added. And I'm not going to go back and use that now, because obviously the Kompressa Prime is here. Which is way better, in my opinion. But with that, we'll leave this off here. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.